All right. Welcome, guys. Episode number 52 of the Strategy Vault.
Yes,
Freestyle
sir.
Fridays. We have a special guest today, Mr. Amit.
Thank
This
you,
is
thank
this
you.
th- this is a real one. I'm gonna pass it over to you so you could just quickly introduce yourself. But this guy is a real one, and I'm very thankful for you for being here, man.
Oh my God, I have to introduce myself. Wow. Well, I'm Amit. I do various of things. I'm an artist, an entrepreneur, and educator. Currently building a game development schools called Academy of Talent, and I also run another school called Lighting Bot. And occasionally, I'll do some lighting for studios whenever that opportunity arises. And today, I'm here to talk to you guys, probably a little bit about podcasting experience and other topic that we probably will stumble upon.
Is there something you don't do? My guy's fucking busy.
Um, well, I don't do well in math.
Really?
That's
Yeah.
surprising, actually.
That's surprising. Based on what you just based on your it's the
Oh,
description.
sure, it's based on that. I'm just kidding, bro. I love you. Yeah, man. No, like I said, I'm fucking happy that you're here, bro. You're when it comes to podcasting, bro, you're the goat in my opinion.
Well,
And,
it's the beginning everywhere, right? You guys are doing it every day, which obviously requires a bit more dedication and a bit more routine. So that's kind of cool. I did mine when I was doing it actively. I was doing mine once a week, I think it was normally, but a bit more
What
organized.
is your podcast about, Amit?
My podcast started originally for interviewing people within the same expertise, the same field, lighting and stuff like this. Then expanded to VFX, then like videos and movies and animation. And then eventually I got to the point where it was kind of the same information, unless I got high profile people onto the podcast. So I changed it up a little bit. So we had different topics similar to us. We had 3 people, and we would talk about layoffs, company laying off things within the industry. We would talk a little bit about game development, then a little bit about mindset, a little bit of other topics that I'm also interested in, which is why I'm here at the Strategy World, because you guys are talking about different topics that I am more interested in these days. And then eventually I stopped a little bit, of course, for a year. Mostly because I have other revenue generating streams, because podcast isn't necessarily the most profitable in terms of financial gain when it comes to what I'm doing, because we are all artists. We just want to have fun, really, and then money comes secondary.
I actually wanted to ask you that because like Felix and I were like when we started this podcast, we weren't sure how often to do a live. Should we record and then edit and launch? And finally we decided let's just do one episode a day. Like that, like we gain as much experience and knowledge as quickly as possible. And we stuck with just doing live. So no editing, no, nothing like that. Just sticking with doing lives every day.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, I didn't edit mine either, to be fair. Like, it's one of the things I was lazy about. Like, I never edited mine either. I just did live stream, and then I left it. And now I'm doing the editing of all of my 100 hours of podcasting. I'm doing I'm using the Opus Clip AI half the time though, just to speed up my process. But I'm using it to make clips now, just to keep the traffic going and the interest and the knowledge going, because not everyone is going to watch 1 hour of video, to be fair.
That's true.
And I didn't do timestamp either, because again, I was pretty busy with many things, so I had to just do a little bit of everything, while you guys have probably an opportunity to focus a little bit. So I would definitely add timestamp and things like this, which I think I've seen maybe you guys already been doing a little bit. I'm not sure.
We tried. We're slowly sliding into having we're gonna have commercials. We're trying to have some kind of introduction and point 1, point 2, point 3, stuff like that. Trying to get some structure to it.
Yeah, I mean, so far so good, right? If you're doing it every day, consistent is the main thing with the podcasting. Then comes the quality of the content, the quality of the guest, and quality of the equipment, and all these things, I suppose.
Yeah, that would come.
So when you say timestamps, you mean like at the bottom when people are watching the video, they can like fast forward to another part of the video, and it
Yeah, so
It
they
has,
know
like, a
kind of the
description.
topics. Yeah. So if you organize your podcast, like in the beginning, I would have very organized podcasts. I would send the questions ahead of time. I would make them comfortable. They would prepare the answers if they needed to. Some people are afraid of being on the podcast. I would do interview blogs instead. So I still got some answers. I would post the blogs and everything. And then basically what you end up doing is you make the live, you try and organize it for timestamp and also easy shorts. In your case, in the future you can easily make shorts out of it. But then eventually became too rigid, too boring. This is what I like with your podcast, is it's kind of fluid. Your guys are engaging people, it's a bit different, which I think is a good thing. Mine was a very rigid in the beginning, and then I stopped because after
In what way you feel like our podcast is different a little bit, like you said? Because I'm not a big podcast listener, to be honest. I don't watch or listen to a lot of podcasts. So I don't
So
know.
I think at least in the beginning, something I didn't do very well was because I'm one person, while you guys are two, so it's a bit easier. Is having one person pay attention to the chat, engaging with the chat, asking questions to the chat. So like if we're talking, you look into the camera and say, "What do you guys think on the chat?" And it doesn't really matter if someone's watching at the time or not. It's an opportunity for people to comment. So you can say, "Hey, leave a comment about your opinion." So you keep the duration of the traffic going and engagement going, basically. And I didn't do that in the beginning, but once I got free for all, so I would just, because of experience, I stopped asking questions on paper. I would just go with the flow, ask questions, and then it came naturally really at the end. And then you could, let's say, "Hey, sorry, I'm just going to check the chat now." And then you check the chat and then you engage with the chat.
Speaking of the chat, we have a few people on Instagram over here.
Hey, you want to direct them to our
Dave the
YouTube
Wave,
channel?
Sir Dave the Wave Legends. What's up, brother? How you doing? We got Mo Green in the house. What's up? What's up? And we got Mr. Corsair. And Mo Green says that
who just
Mo Green says that we have fantastic glasses.
Thank you.
Yeah, good point. We all have glasses. That's a good observation.
Yeah, just have like a special
guys, I pinned the YouTube link. If you guys can go watch us on YouTube, and that'd be great, because all your comments written there, only I could see it. So if you guys don't mind going on YouTube, smash that subscribe button, smash the like button, and come chill, come hang out on YouTube.
Maëva voulait venir dire bonjour. Tu voulais dire allô à tout le monde?
Allô, Maëva.
Giordano, il dit allô. Tu dis allô? Tu veux dire allô à Giordano?
Dis allô, Giordano.
I knew she was going to be too shy.
Allô, Giordano.
I knew she was going to be too shy.
What a cutie.
Tu veux dire allô? Dis bonjour. Bonjour. Say hi. Hi. Hi, everybody. Hi. Okay. Gotta go. Sorry, guys.
It's fucking cute.
Sorry, guys.
So yeah, so that's it. So we landed on doing it every day for now, and we're like we kept it open for to make changes and stuff like that. But I don't know if it's sustainable to go every day. That's what I fear, because sometimes we're like, okay, should we do it live at 3 o'clock? Should we do it at 5 o'clock? Should we do it at noon? And like I'm technically, I live in Portugal, right? So I'm only here for a few months. So we're gonna start doing it at a certain time, and then we're gonna switch it. So like, how important is consistency?
I mean, consistency is probably quite important in the long run. Like, one thing I also wasn't very good at is I would have consistent times, but then the people I was talking to, they might not do that particular time. So you would try and be flexible as possible. And then I tried making like the weekends only, because most people are free in the weekends. And I think I ended up on like Sunday or Saturdays. Then the problem is I wouldn't go out because I was busy doing the podcast. So I couldn't really go out and be social. So it comes at the price. I know quite a few podcasts, which I'm not going to mention, that do it every day, but they do 4 times a day. So they'll do something in the morning,
4
something in the
times a day.
evening, something in the night. So they're like hardcore, but
Huge.
they make like a huge money. And once you get enough followers, at least on YouTube, you have like the subscriber feature.
4 times a day. I think those
Yeah,
guys watched our segment the other day, Phil.
but you know,
Those guys were-
Grant Cardone is doing a lot of live and lots of like podcasts, seminars. He's gonna use multiple medias to like sell his like ultimate. He has an ultimate product or program that he's trying to sell. You know, so I feel like we're also trying to build that. You know, at the same time, because it seems like a lot, but when you have like multiple stuff that you're doing at the same time, multiple streams of revenue, and that was like I was asking myself a question while you two were talking, because you said that you were trying to be flexible with some of your viewers, and in my head I was more like trying to like target, you know, like from 5 to 6 people are coming back from either like they're coming back from work or they have like some free time, free hand,
was Anthony.
to just like to listen to us, you know. So from 5 to 6 I would compete with like the most you know, in radio, 5 to 6 is a big like airtime. You know, it's huge. So I was trying to like target that market specifically in Montreal, since we're a bilingual, sometimes French, most of the time English podcast, and you know his viewers are mostly from Montreal. So that, you know, 5 to 6 Eastern time was I think was ideal. What do you think about that? Like targeting a certain market strategy for a podcast and stick to it.
Yeah, so the challenge with my podcast is people are in different time zone, right? So I need to
Wow.
accommodate for both the US, the Canada, and even India and even Europe. So if I do too early, then I only get European market, then I lose up on the other time zones. So you need to be flexible enough that it's accessible for other people. Obviously, my podcasts were recorded and then uploaded up automatically without edits, so people could watch it afterwards, of course. But I think the advantage for you guys, the way you guys are doing it at the moment, is at least for YouTube, well, Instagram too, but mostly YouTube, the requirements to be a partner is a bit higher now. So if you do it every day, you're more likely in a year's time be able to have the requirements to be allowed to become a partner, and then gives you other monetization options. The problem with me is I would be like quite active for 6 months, and then maybe I would get a bit tired or exhausted or overreaching, and then I have other things I had to worry about and balance. So I had to stop a little bit, because I obviously had a Discord as well. Well, I still have it, but you know, it was it's a bit too much for one person, I think, the way I was doing
Yeah,
it.
it's for sure. I was actually just about to say that it would be so much easier if you had a partner. You know, also for like so they can kind of spot you when you're like, you know, when you're like when you're busy and you have other things going on. But it's also for the accountability aspect of it. Like, man, so many times like either me or Fel are like we're feeling tired or we don't feel like doing it and we're like we skipped today. No, fuck that, we're not skipping. You know, just for the accountability aspect, it's good to have a partner for sure.
Yeah,
100%, bro.
yeah, it's I started
Good to
having a
have a
couple
team.
of them. Yeah, I
It's
had a
good to have
couple of them, but they also had their own streaming and own podcast, so they would come to my platform once a month, and then you know I was gonna join theirs as well eventually, but it's quite complicated because everyone wants to do their own thing and everyone wants to, you know, be in the front. So it becomes a bit difficult when you already have something established and then start inviting people to participate on it. So now it's I mean, people are emailing me occasionally. I do have a guest list that I didn't finish, so I have like messaged someone like a week ago, and I said, "Sorry, I haven't ghosted you or anything. Just I moved to Portugal, and
Oh
I had
wow, really? Okay.
yeah, and I was like, hey, I apologize for not following up on our appointments and everything, and so on and so forth, just so they know that
Wow.
they're not ghosted, because it's a level of professionalism, it's a level of courtesy, so people don't think like, hey, you invited and then it never happened, even though I told them it wouldn't happen for the time being. I said like, not yet, but it's been like almost a year now, so I was like, okay, I should probably message and let them know that it's on my list somehow, but we'll get there someday. So I might start again more actively, but again, I have too much other things going on at the moment, so it would be more for fun for me than anything at this stage.
But it's making me think. Sorry to cut you, Amit. It's making me think. Like, if I don't know if your business side or the other income stream that you're having would be like enough to pay someone, like, or to create yourself like a whole team like we have right now. I feel like, my ability to take on that much more work, and even if like George would tell me tomorrow, yo, Phil, I've thought about it. Like, he said you need to hit multiple markets. Like, we should be doing like twice a day, let's say. I know he's not gonna say that. I know he's never gonna say that. Not now yet, but I know he's not gonna say that. But just for the sake of it, let's say George tells me tomorrow we double down, and we start doing twice a day. I don't say my system would be ready, but I've created a system that creates like a net. I have a net behind of, like, I have a team at Uninet. I have a team of partners with Stratégie Conseil. Stratégie Conseil, it's me alone. But I work with people. I work with different like consultants. Same thing with Uninet. We also have partners if I really need to. So I have a net where I could like split myself a little bit. Have you ever thought about like really hiring someone to assist you in like tasks that are more like you just said, you didn't the list that you were talking about, that person that didn't answer, hey, I didn't ghost you, that doesn't happen to me, never ever. I never let money fall through the crack. Let's say it. I'm obsessed with that. I'm obsessed with the CRM and having like someone call my clients every morning. I'm checking that. So it's this like, and this podcast thing is like the result of like us having some free time and being able to market the distillation of everything we're doing. Have you ever thought about hiring someone?
Yeah, but I think for me, I went the other direction. So I originally started my podcast for fun, and then they wanted a community, and then I saw a market opportunity to start a school out of it. And I did hire people to do like the timestamps and everything, but because such a niche podcast, it's a bit difficult to find like committed people that are on an entrepreneur level, right? Because most people I talk to and cater to they are artists. They have a specific mindset of a career. I want to earn this much. I want to be on this. So to get people that can understand what we're doing and the purpose behind it has always been a bit difficult. But I've tried paying people for different things. But the problem is once you start something and it's already going well, it's a different challenge to include someone afterwards and give them the ownership, because then if they leave, you train someone else to build their own experience. They go somewhere else if you can't commit.
You want them to have a stake. I feel like you need partners that also have a stake in order for it to be successful. The people you're with also like need to like benefit from the project. And when this happens, miracles happen, right? Because like they also like they're contributing, but they're also getting rewarded out of it. By the way, Ant, yeah, we go 5 times a week, Monday to Friday.
I think this is the biggest thing of our generation, George. What you just said, it's like, I feel like Amit is also like feeling the same way. We're all, and this is why it's hard, right? This is why it's so hard to find good people. And we were working at IGA, like you don't know what IGA is, Amit, but like we were working like grocery stores when we were kids. Whenever like we were working like our first jobs, we all thought to ourselves, like these boss don't understand why they can't keep people, but we know why they can't keep people, because they just like it's they treat us just like stamps, you know, like real like a QR code, beep, like you're next, you know, that's how you're being treated, and we're done with that. People are done with that. I feel like this is old stuff. People want to be treated as human beings, even if they have like low, I would say, not qualification, but spécialisation,
Specialization.
you know, like
Specialization. Yeah, but
people
I
are trying to
also think,
specialize more.
like I don't know what you guys think about. Oh, sorry, Phil. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Go.
No, I don't know if you guys feel the same way. Like the new generation, what is it, Gen Z? I think.
Oh, we're past that.
We're
past that.
I don't know. Like I think about this sometimes. Like you mentioned that like people at IGA, like why like regular workplaces have a hard time hiring and keeping people. Is it because the new generation doesn't want to do those kind of jobs because social media makes you think that you need to be doing like
no, listen, I worked at
entrepreneur, or is it because way back then, like in our grandparents' days, they were able to work at a gas station and provide for their family? They were able to work at a gas station.
I think the stakes are different. Listen, I risked my life at the corner store. You know, I worked at Couche-Tard. You know, Couche-Tard regular. There's so many Couche-Tards in Quebec. Like this is the corner store, the convenience store, Amit, that you could find anywhere in Quebec. There's so many Couche-Tards. There's so many kids that work
like
at Couche-Tard.
Equivalent to like I'm trying 7-Eleven. To give you a comparison.
7-Eleven.
Nah, he doesn't know 7-Eleven. I'm trying to give you a comparison in Portugal. What do we have in Portugal? Continent, fucking.
To me, I don't know 7-Eleven. Of course, I know what 7-Eleven is.
Okay, everybody knows 7-Eleven.
Okay, so it's like it's like a 7-Eleven.
I worked there, and someone showed up with like a gun at some point. So I asked, like, I don't want to expand on this story. I just want to say, like, at some point, I was asking myself, is it really worth the salary? Is it really worth the hours they're giving me? They're giving me 15 hours a week,
and you work
for
the night
15,
shift?
like not even 15, like $15 an hour at that time. It was like $12.50. I was a kid, so it was not worth it. It was really not worth risking your life for $100. And now people are more aware of everything.
Time.
Like people could just check on LinkedIn, doing their own search for everything they're postulating on. So they're calculating, doing maths on, hey, if I do this hour, that place, this place. And it's normal. We can't blame people. I'm an entrepreneur. I hired people through Uninet to clean bathrooms. I had to ask myself, how could I make this different so I don't make these people feel the same way I was feeling when I was working at Couche-Tard? So this is the big thing of because like if you're hiring someone on Upwork, I feel it's the same thing. Even if it's cheap, like the guy shows up, it's his first job on Upwork, first whatever. Like, why would you lowball the person and like just go down on a person? $30.
No, you want them to be happy. You want them to be.
You want them to be happy, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
So I feel like it's something that our generation, no matter where you are, where you stand in the world right now, you are trying to look for like just like some real human beings to work with who would understand, have empathy, at least have empathy for your situation and pay you that little extra. You know, I saw a sponsored ad on Facebook a week ago. I told you, George, people like a guy who was a guy from Quebec who was promoting the fact that in Madagascar you could hire people for $50 a month. He was sponsoring that here in Quebec. Facebook ad.
And I'm sure they'll be happy, though. I'm sure like you can outsource to people even from India. Amit, I'm not sure if you've tried this.
That's crazy, bro. $50 a month.
Yeah, but you can outsource. And look, those guys are able to feed their family with that. And for you, it's a little amount of money that you're paying. And
so he was proposing. 50 was the actual salary in Madagascar. So the guy was like sponsoring that, and he was like, if you give them 500 a month, they're happy. They said what you said. They said, okay, if you give them 500, it's 10x what they're making. But still, 500 Canadian a month, bro, to pay someone to do something. How crazy is that? Like right now, you have that available to you. There's these sponsored ads are directed to Quebec businesses, like to Canadian businesses. So Canadian companies are going to be hiring people at $500 a month instead of hiring Amit or hiring Jordan or hiring. So we're competing with these. What is the service the same? Are we getting the same for our dollars? These are all questions, but like our generation are more like the thing I'm saying is we're just more aware of that. We know it, like we're competing against all that. We know what value we bring to the table when we're working for a project, and we know what's at stake. You know, we want to know what's at stake. That's important. I feel like it's important. And so yeah, I'm sorry I went like a little bit off board on that because I felt
Well, you started three, four different topics now. So there's a couple of things to think about.
ça, c'est mon genre 100%.
As Gio started as well, when it comes to people being focused and are not working hard and everything or losing attention, he started briefly talking about like, is it because of social media and so on before you Felix took over the conversation and had more topics to talk about now. So we're going to break it down a little bit. So scientifically speaking, because I like to research everything as well, right? So scientifically speaking, one of the reasons the new generation are not necessarily as committed, loyal, or arguably as hardworking, partially because our brain is now being programmed to constantly look for instant gratification, constantly look for short term. That's why we have short reels. That's why we have like all these apps about reading
Sprints.
books, selling you like
Scrum
Blinkist and all
boards.
these things, reading things, 10-minute reading every day. You get the smartest person in the room. Like, that's why long format podcast also sometimes struggles a bit. It's a different audience if you do 1 hour podcast versus like 10-40 minute kind of audience. So and it's also about habits, like how you're being raised, right? When we were little, something happened, you fell down, my parents wouldn't come and like, oh, little baby, it's okay, it's like try again. Even from a gaming point of view, if you think about the games we used to play games that if you died in the game, you had to start all the way over. So you learn persistence.
Zelda.
I remember
Ocarina of Times
Sega,
and all these stuff.
Sega
Yeah, I'm
Genesis
playing that right now.
I don't think the Sega Genesis you were able to save your gameplay.
No, you had to start all over.
Yeah.
The first the N64, like I'm playing that right now on the Switch, and I'm realizing what you just said. I'm playing the old Zelda, and I realized like, hey, these games are older, less appealing on the graphic side, but so much more challenging. So I have just much more fun playing them right now than the new Zeldas that I bought. I bought the new Zeldas. I bought some new games, and they're too easy to just like go back, like save. I don't know how to say. Like they're less challenging. They're just less challenging. It's true.
But I think I'm not going to go too deep into it, and I have to be careful how I formulate some of these sentences. But a lot of people, because when I was doing full-time teaching on top of building my business, on top of doing freelancing at the time, one of the things that we got complaints about was students complaining to teachers about, why didn't I get an A? Like as if it was as if there was entitlement. Like, I put in effort. Yeah, you put in effort,
Wow.
but you still didn't do the right stuff though. You put the effort in the wrong place. So like a lot of people are growing up and they are not really being told the truth. They're not really being disciplined. They're not really being told, like, listen, it does require effort, but it also requires you to focus on the right thing, right? If I want to climb something, but if I'm crawling on the floor all day, of course I'm not going to suddenly be able to climb, Mount Everest, because my focus of, technique and everything is on the floor. It's not going up the damn hill, right? So these are some of the things that I noticed as well. Like, I remember I would get some complaints like, Amit, it's so strict. And I was like, I'm not strict. I just require you to be on a certain level, and you just happen not to be on that certain level. I'm not going to give you an A to satisfy you. But then now education is a lot about pleasing people, pleasing political, getting that money, that payment, and then kind of say, hey, yeah, you did a good job. So when I do my
I was
mentorship,
about to ask you that.
I am not like that. Like, I will tell you if it's not good, and I will not let you continue if it's not good. Be it like
This is interesting. I want to
Right.
go to your school now, just because you said that. Because all school, all programs, all things that I've seen on the internet right now, and you could probably like expand on that, because I was about to ask you, how do you feel about like the schools of the internet right now that are like that were being marketed massively right now? There's this huge guy, I don't remember his name, man. The school games. I don't know, school games. There's this guy.
There's a lot
There's
of them
also
right now. There's a lot of them
like
that are like selling,
influencers
that are
who are selling their own
educational
schools.
content.
Like, yeah. How do you feel about all these schools? Because I feel like I also felt that they gave A's to just to please, so you pay to get like your certification, but like there's no like real.
It's interesting you
value.
brought that up. Honestly,
Yes.
like we're in that that era, like participation, fucking.
I mean, the participation thing,
ribbons, like
it happened 10, 20. It started, I already knew this. Like
I think
10,
it's a
20 years
dangerous.
ago.
I think it's a dangerous game to
we-
let our
we-
kids think this
Please,
way.
everyone.
We're accommodating to the point where, we want people to be happy and feel good, but it does come at the expense of, the reality is, and people don't want to hear this, and I probably shouldn't say it, but the truth is, there's always a top dog. There's always someone better than you. There's always someone who earns more than you. You cannot expect the same treatment and the same things just because you exist. It's not really possible. Like, that's like saying me, who go quite at length sacrificing things to be on a certain, level in whatever I choose to do. I don't want you to get the same pay because you're only spending 2 hours, and just because you spend 2 hours, I'm not gonna just walk around and be okay with you, unless you happen to be magically smarter than me, and then it's a different topic, because then you just have superior talent and genes, and that's fine. But it's a bit too much of that. So when I do with my students, there
wouldn't be value and effort then. Like there wouldn't have like any if talent really like is the differentiator, like, then that means that any work is vain. You work in vain. You try in vain, but it's not true. Like,
I mean, you can.
I have a few. I have a question for you. Were you grown up like with your parents? They used the wooden spoon on you. Something tells me they used the wooden spoon, the shoe, and the belt. Am I wrong?
So my mom would never lift, and my dad was a disciplinary one. So he, the day he broke the stick is when he stopped beating me, because he knew I was strong enough to withstand it now. So he stopped after that. He's like, okay, there's no point doing anything to this guy anymore. He's just badass now. So he stopped.
I love that. I love that. Like, I would never condone, like hitting your kids, like violence towards kids, but you need to, like, we can't raise our kids thinking that the world is all rainbows and rainbows and daisies. Like, we have to prepare our kids for the real world, and just making them think that their effort is enough, I don't think
you can if you ever analyze your group of people and then extended network, one thing you will notice: whoever had a difficult upbringing, who learned to fail, who was like allowed to fail, is the more important thing. So a lot of people are afraid of failing, and they're not allowed to fail, and there's consequences. So that's where people could probably improve upon is like allow to fail, but not really necessarily punish people for it. And what you will notice is people who have difficulties and hurdles in life, they tend to be able to handle more and achieve more. For example, Felix was talking about like, oh, Madagascar, this is the price for Indians, they are cheap and everything. But you have to remember, their starting point is low. So anything they get is better. They'll sleep on the floor for a year or 2 or 3, to work their way up to achieve something. They're not going to have like the most expensive mattress, the most expensive sofa. They're not really having that mentality and mindset. They're trying to survive and achieve something greater. But when you come from a country like Norway, which is where I'm from, you're privileged from day one in theory, right? You're not you have the government supports you if you fail. You have like normally all kinds of support basically. So you don't have the same mentality. But that's where parents come in, I think, to kind of limit those kind of influences to help you grow. And I think part of that comes from my attitude too. When I observe myself, I don't think I'm smarter than anyone, I don't think I'm better than anyone, but I do think I have one skill which I think Grant Cardone also has, and I think he says it in one of his book 10x rules, is he had something that I also have: perseverance,
Persistence.
right? He just keeps
Yes.
going, and that's the same thing I do. Someone can do the same thing I do in 10 hours, but I probably need a month to do it. But the thing is, I'm gonna keep going though. I'm not gonna
until
stop.
you achieve it. Until you
Right.
achieve it. I fucking love that, bro. I love that. I love everything you just said, and because of that mind, I'm addicted to that mindset to the point where I put myself in uncomfortable situations purposely, because I know it's like, I'm gonna go there. Okay, I'm gonna, in the short term, I'm not gonna enjoy this, but I know that there's a benefit of me doing this. Like, bro, me moving to Portugal by myself, I didn't need to move to Portugal, but I still fucking did it. And I did it because it's hard. And me and Felix have these talks all the time, bro. We're doing this because it's hard,
Because
because
hard.
it's challenging, because. Whenever something is easy now, it's like, not interested, because there's no growth coming out of this. So like, I feel like because we have this mindset, we can bulldoze over people. Like, I feel like we can run right over people.
But that's the thing with a group of friends. Like, you'll something you will notice is, again, everyone have the right to do what they want, feel what they want. There's nothing wrong with working 8 hours a day and then going home and watching Netflix and playing and whatever. There's nothing wrong with, like, there's an arts cafe in Alvor here in Portugal.
There's nothing wrong.
There's nothing wrong. So they work 4 hours a day and then they just chill rest of the day.
That's the European lifestyle. That's the
Right.
European lifestyle, is to just work.
So just to
It
clarify,
depends on your level of commitment, on what you chose to like.
So just to clarify, there's nothing wrong with it. But I say but because if you look at the type of people you surround yourself with, your level of success, and the people say it all the time, and I do agree with it, is connected to the type of mindset you have around people. So if I'm spending a lot of time with people who are like, which is a lot of people who are like artists, they're passionate, they love what they're doing, they want to have fun, and they want to chill afterwards. They aren't necessarily the people I would talk to when it comes to business, entrepreneurship, and doing more, right? Because I'm not necessarily looking to rest just yet, right? And then you have people like who are like my friend here in Portugal, Manish. He is like, he doesn't have the same starting point as me, but he has the right mindset to do something and succeed. He runs 2 restaurants now. He opened his second one in Alvor, and he's growing. And I'm spending a lot of time with him, and we're doing crypto trading. I'm teaching him a little
That
bit.
guy is so fucking chill. I know who you're talking about. His food is delicious.
Yeah.
Shout out to him, man. He does have the right mindset. Though we spoke a couple times, and his food is amazing.
So it's people have different starting point in life, but it shouldn't stop you from achieving more. But there's nothing wrong with it. But the problem I have, which is something Grant Cardone also speaks a lot about, is people for some reason dislike you if you're after this kind of success.
Hmm.
They judge you if you're like over ambitious, if you work a lot. They think it's like, oh, this guy
It's
is
unhealthy.
nice, or this guy is not really fun, or he's boring. But the thing is, discipline is boring. Like
Yeah,
I've
that's
been
true.
I
So
changed my
hard.
diet 3 weeks ago because I don't know what happened 3 weeks ago, because I kept complaining to Manish and other people here in Portugal. And I looked at my stomach and I was like, this stomach is fucking pissing me off, man. I don't like it,
You
man.
think discipline is boring? I'm the rare cat that think discipline is fun. I fucking I don't know, man. I think I'm wired differently. When I'm like when something is so shit in the moment, I'm like, yeah, man, yeah, let's
No, I
fucking
feel
go. I love this shit. I love this
think
shit. It's hard, so I
I,
love it. I get goosebumps just thinking about it. I'm in the gym. I'm training. I'm fucking like, yeah, I don't want to be here. I don't want to go to the gym, so I'm gonna go to the gym. My back is hurting. My back's been fucking hurting.
I
So I
think
go
we're
to the
three
gym.
guys like that here. I
Yeah.
think we're the three of us here are like that. I just feel like from what I get from what Amit was saying, and I get what you're saying, George, because I'm a little bit the same. You know, I'm the same. Like about I have two kids at home, and they're my joy, and they're as much as I'm stuck to my kids, they're also my liberty, because I'm so free at home to do a bunch of things, to do a bunch of stuff that's fun. I could just like relax at home with my kids. For most people, they would like feel stuck at home because now it's a change of lifestyle. For me, it's different. I feel like it's all about your choices, the choices you like, the choice you make in life, your commitment that you take about them, and how you decide to live your life afterward. Are you complaining? If you're complaining, it's hard to have discipline when you're complaining. You keep complaining about the stuff you chose to be in. This is, I feel like, is the most idiotic thing of our like period on earth. And which I feel is different from our parents and the people before them. I feel like they had no real time to complain. They had to go, and if you don't go, you get smacked in the back of the head, because you have parents in the back. They're like, hey, you have no time, you have to go, you have to go to school, you have to go there, you have to go there, you had to go places. There was no shortcuts like we have in our hands. Like my house is filled with shortcuts. I feel
I have a friend. So a lot of my close friends, they have the same mindset in terms of discipline, in terms of committing to something and then trying different things because they want more. Like they're not really content. But obviously it's dangerous not to be content also. You have to find a balance, of course. Otherwise you end up in a situation like me where you like do too much for one thing for 10, 20 years, and then you're like, fuck, I'm getting older and I forgot to enjoy other parts. But I have another friend. I don't know if you guys know it. It's this paper or the poster, and he has lots of squares in it, and I think it goes up to like 100 years or 80 years or something, and there every day you cross a box which is represent your day in your life. And when you do it and you put it on the wall and you see how few boxes there are left, you go like, oh shit, I don't have a lot time left to do what I want to do. But the thing is, for me, I think every time I've done something and achieved something, this is a curse. I think you want more. You want the next level. So the problem now is what I'm focusing on, which is a bit different than Geo, is I'm also looking for like a healthy balance. I try and do my exercise, doing my MMA, not at the moment because I don't have a stable income at the moment, but so I'm training at home instead, and now I don't have a completely different diet to compensate for this, and I spent like 2 weeks researching and learning more about diet, what to eat, what food is poisoned, how people are spraying wheat, like all kinds of stuff. And I've been taking notes, learning from different people. I changed my diet, and my energy is coming back because obviously I don't work at the company that exhausted me.
So how could we 10x everything, guys? Like I just feel like it's converging to all three of us have a little. Like, have you read the whole book, Amit? The 10x rule?
No.
You haven't read so we're going through the book every Wednesday. and
I listened to the
it's my third
audio
time.
book.
You're listening to it. You're not reading. Okay,
Mm.
so we're going through that book, and I'm feeling through our conversation that we're three guys looking to 10x our operations, either health, either like financial, either and like throughout the book, sometimes we stay stuck. Me and George, we're debating. We're not always like on par with everything that he's saying. This guy, you know, but like,
Well,
But
I
you
mean,
can
that's
be though.
why.
Wait, I just want to get a point over here. It doesn't make sense to agree 100% with anybody.
I know, of
That
course.
would just be weird.
I,
So
I
like,
was
yeah,
just
there's a
yeah,
lot of
exactly. I wanted to
things.
ask Amit about his side of the thing. Of course, that's why I
Like, there's a lot of things he's saying. I'm like,
I
bro,
know,
I'm like, what the fuck is this guy saying? Like, there's certain things. I'm like, bro, this guy's out of his mind. But then there's something. But the majority of what he says, I agree with, and I like it. You know, and
feel like it's
it's
normal,
good,
though.
valuable insight. And so that's why I listen to somebody. If somebody, the majority of the shit that they say is shit, I'm not gonna listen to them. But the majority of stuff that he says is good. I want to, drill this stuff in my brain. Like, that's the whole point of reading, I think, is to constantly put this stuff in your mind, and you kind of manifests.
Bro, it's like the
over
third time
time.
we're going through that book, you and me, George. It's like the third time we're trying to like
Yeah.
rewind that content because we feel like it's so important to.
It is, and
it works.
We're rewiring our brain for these principles that we're that we're putting in front of us all the time. So like, yeah, I don't think we should agree with 100% with anybody. That's what I think. I think we should. There's always stuff you should disagree with.
But we had that. I'm saying that because we had that comment 2 days ago on Wednesday from that guy who said, "I'm selling pergolas. I'm not going to be able to 10x my operations, guys. I understand the 10x, but 2x is enough for me, and 10x is too much. It's not possible. We're selling an actual product." And in my head,
But see, that's the point though. The Grant Cardone is saying, if you do 2x, you're probably not gonna achieve. If you do 10x, you might achieve the 2x.
exactly.
Right,
So,
exactly.
So that's the whole point. Exactly. So I was trying to explain that we didn't have much time to like expand on that on Wednesday, but I understand where he's coming from. He's thinking about his shop. He's thinking about his machines right now and the way he's producing. You could literally like the first year have 10x mindset, not to 10x your whole operations, but 10x small things.
But I mean,
without realizing.
I mean, he does speak about that too. I believe that it's
Yes.
really about incremental. I think one of the math he did, I think, was, and I've seen it before. Like most of the stuff he's saying, I've heard it before from other people and other mentors I've had over the years. So it's not like it's rocket science. It's just so. This is why you need multiple mentors, because what you want to look for the pattern of what people say, because then that's more than likely something you can trust.
Yeah,
right.
I know. Yeah, that's like that aha moment. It's like for sure. No, for sure. I understand totally. That's an amazing point. Like when the more you start reading from different people who obviously are where you want to be, right? You're not going to take advice from people who are not where you want to be. And when all these people start saying the same thing, like you said, there's a pattern. Like, okay, like this is it. This is the deep inside you, this is it.
And it depends really. I have another coach or mentor, and he says, and I say that to him. I've been saying it for a while, and must have gotten it from somewhere probably. But like he says, if you do 1% daily, that's one step at a time. 1% every day for a year is 37.18 times better every year. That's 300% an increase. Total improvement is 3,700% over a whole year if you just do a little bit every day. And that's what I try and explain to people in a more simpler terms for many years. Is all you do is accumulation. Like you just do a little bit.
Right? It compounds. Each day you add. I love that. Which book is that from, Amit? Is that Atomic Habits?
This one is one. This was just a note I wrote from one of my mentors, but it's probably from Atomic Habits or somewhere else. Like most of these people that try and mentor, and this is also going to be me in the future probably, is I'm obviously using the same stuff other people mention. I think for me the thing is, when I was young, I already noticed my mindset was different, but I thought something was wrong with me until I started reading books, and I was like, oh,
I could relate to that.
people do think like this, and there are old people who are thinking like this. And then I became a little bit more obsessed, and okay, I have to keep learning,
Keep
more
being
deep
obsessed. So true, bro. I feel so bro, this is so relatable. I don't know if like there's other people that could relate to that. Bro, sometimes, George, let's be honest, like I feel like I don't feel weird anymore. But before, when I first started, like I would say from 20 years old to 30 years old, I would always weird out myself in conversations and interviews and from stuff that I didn't know was my, I would say my, not my it was definitely not my weakness, but at the time I would feel like it was my weakness. I would try like to tame that. I was like, no, you need to shut that down because that prevents you like from getting a job. As soon as you start talking, like they get you out. But in sales, that's another skill it's another skill set that you could use. So like, and in like as soon as you start selling your business and like knowing how to defend yourself, knowing how to defend yourself well in a job is not good because they're gonna fire you, man. They're just gonna
They don't want. They want yes people. They don't want.
they want yes people. And knowing how to defend yourself is really a weakness when you're like looking for a job and have a stable career.
Yeah, you have to play the game.
I'm like when it talks to like when we talk about like sales and defending yourself with banks and defending yourself like if you're a consultant for your clients, like you're trying to, if you're a lawyer, defending yourself obviously is like it's the game, right? So sometimes it's all about putting yourself in different situations, leaving your zone, whatever. Like it's good. It could be comfort, in comfort, whatever. Leave it. Like you need to leave that zone, go somewhere, try something else.
I think a key thing that I've learned, I'm not successful or rich or anything, but I'm obviously, my mindset is different enough that I can survive difficult times. And one thing I've noticed is you're doing a good thing probably if people are starting to dislike you. When everyone likes you, you're not really being true to yourself. And when I started being a bit more, to the point where people, I don't really like, that's when I realized, okay, but I feel good, I feel comfortable, I feel confident, I feel focused, I'm doing great.
That's amazing.
My life is doing amazing when I do it. But whenever I try like wishy-washy to like fit in and all the things, it doesn't work. And
it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. I know exactly what you're saying.
And it's the same with my school and mentorship. Like there are other people who do the same thing as me, but people come to me because I'm probably a bit more like on to the point. This no bullshit. This is what we're gonna do, and my price is 10x of all the competitors.
Yes.
So
and you're also an approachable person. Like let's be real. Like I want to say one thing about Amit. This guy, he'll go out of his way to make sure that he goes and makes the connections. I don't think I've met somebody who's so like dedicated to making new relationships. Like in Portugal, we're part of this group, the digital Portugal digital nomads. Every 2 weeks, we do like they have an organizer who organizes meetups and they do cocktails and stuff like that. Amit is there every second week. I gotta go, and whenever he makes a commitment to somebody, he shows up. He never flakes out. There's stuff to take from that because like and I've been with him and he's and like we remember that time we were eating at the restaurant. We were eating at a restaurant and he's like, and he hasn't even got his plate yet. He's like, no, I gotta go, man. He's like, I had commitments with somebody else. I gotta go. Called an Uber, left right away. Just because he gave somebody else a commitment that I don't know what happened.
Don't you feel a bit like an alien sometimes? Giving yourself all this like pressure and commitment.
Look, most people won't care. Most people won't care, but like you have to respect that.
I remember the incident. We were over at over the Fragudo. Is that what's it called?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I had made. because these are Portuguese people inviting me, and it's my MMA friends who are having a dinner. But they didn't say, "Are you gonna come?" They didn't specify time, or anything. So I joined you guys, thinking it's cancelled or something. So then I get the message and say, "Okay, we figured it out. You come here. We're gonna do this." I'm like, "Okay," so it's still happening. I said I would go, and then I ate your food at the restaurant.
He even left his food. He ordered a plate. He's like, no, I gotta let it go.
And then I went to the other place.
He's like, I gotta go.
And then I went to the other place, and I had to eat there as well. I'm like, Jesus Christ, 3 dinners in one day.
Wow.
Yeah. I think this is also where you lose my respect. Also, like if there's one thing I am picky on is like if is commitment to what you say. So like I had like sales on my courses right now, and people know the price. I schedule time with them, and then they don't have the money, even though the price is there. They say they're interested, and I don't really push for sales or anything anymore. I'm like, okay, fair enough, and I can always 100% know. Gio knows this for sure, and Felix, I don't know if you said you did sales too, but at least I can know 100% that if they're not purchasing while I'm on the call, I know they're not going to purchase afterward. They can say whatever they want. Oh, I don't have the money. I have to ask my husband, my wife. I know they're not buying it because I didn't explain something well enough, or my offer isn't interesting enough, or I said something, right? And I'm like, okay, fair enough. They're not interested. Okay, I'm not going to do the whole sales technique. And sometimes I do that, but then I don't want to be pushed, because in my
That's an interesting one. I love
my industry. My industry is quite sensitive, so you
want to answer it, Jordan, or you want me to answer it? Like, for me, it's that's my favorite one, to be honest. That's my favorite.
Go for it. Go for it. You look like you're salivating.
Bro, that's my favorite one. These ones, bro, like these ones. To be honest, like, first, I have to say you need to keep yourself like a good CRM, because these people will come back. I have to tell you that all people will come back. I'm a notorious plan checker, quote getter, like
orange squeezer.
I'm a shopper, bro. I'm shopping around. Like, internet is the new, how do you say centre commercial, Jordan? How do you say like it's the new mall, bro? Like, so I need to shop around, and I feel like this, this is something about ourselves that, yes, you're right. People like see the price, and their commitment might change, and they might like use all kinds of excuses to like let go of like their commitment to like, yeah, I want to do it. They see the price, and boom, shockwave, cold water treatment, ice bucket challenge. I feel like it's our job to bring like some kind of like heat to heat it back up, because
like
everybody's going to get a shockwave.
I would just like to say one thing about price. One little quote that I've said a few times. Price is only an issue when value is absent.
Exactly, yeah.
No matter how much your price is, if they're getting value from it, and if the value is clearly communicated to them, the price shouldn't be an issue. So, like, how much do you mind if I ask how much you charge for your courses?
I mean, it's not too much according to me. It's between 1,000 to 4,000 euro.
Okay, so now
it's a full length course. So for like, a full length course completely, or 1 month, how does it work? Just so I know, Jordan, I just want to know, how does the so it's a 3 months. So if I pay $1,000 or I pay $4,000, I get the full length of the course, or it's a subscription. It's subscription.
You get the full length, but you can extend it if you want to.
Okay, so it's a full length course for 1,000, or a full length for 4,000. So okay, I just wanted to understand that. So go ahead, Jordan. Sorry.
Where was I? I lost my thought.
Sorry, bro.
But I think it's interesting though, because you have to respect that anyway. Like, people are gonna ask around, they're gonna check, and normally in my experience, if you just like push a little bit just to make sure that you've done your part, and then if they still say no, then okay, you just let them go. And if you're lucky, they come back in the future. But the way I work is I don't necessarily want you back. So you're not really allowed to come back to me. I don't care if you pay 4,000, 5,000, because I want certain mindset and attitude. That's why I have a high price.
Yeah, but maybe they might not know. Maybe they might not know that it's good for them yet. Maybe they just haven't been sold on it. Like Grant, I love how we're like everyone here are Grant
At
readers.
least.
Yeah, exactly. And man, the way he sells it, like he'll sell a course for $1,000, and like he'll say like, I'm giving you $5 million of value. Like he exaggerates, takes it to another level. But he's like, you're like, wow, this guy's giving me $5 million of value for $1,000. Whoa, he makes it seem like an absolute no-brainer to purchase his material. And
yeah,
last time,
but that's the thing. I've been on the receiving end of Grant Cardone sellers on the phone. And
Me
I don't
too.
like how
Me
they
neither.
sell. They don't
Yeah.
respect you.
very
So this
very
is-
American.
so-
Very
so-
American.
So,
Yeah, it's
so
true.
based on me being sold and reflecting over it, I do not want to do that to people that I am calling, because
Yeah,
it's
true. I'm on par
uncomfortable.
with that too.
Because they're assuming that I am lying when I'm not lying. So I don't want to assume that the people that are interested in my stuff are lying. They have good reason for their situation, or whatever reason they say no for. I mean, I don't want to. The mindset of going, oh, they're probably lying, or they probably have the money, is probably true half of the time. To be honest, when I was very aggressive in selling, I had 90% sales success because I explained, I asked the right question. This one time I even said, like, why are you asking a girlfriend for permission? Does she ask you permission for like makeup and haircut and clothes? No. So
Amazing.
this is your investment. You're gonna earn more money to provide for your family. So this should be like a no-brainer. And he bought the course. Now, I'm not that I don't do this level of anymore, because there is, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on your point of view, there is a long-term relationship building in the stuff I do anyway, because these are the same people I might work with in the future or have the same contract. These are the same people that I might join a studio or do other things. So it's not really the same kind of go-getter, keep annoying them and selling them. So when Grant Cardone sold the stuff to me, I had to do a refund, and the process of getting a refund took me 3 weeks, and it cost me $750 out of $2,500, which would have been $8,800.
I never spent that kind of money with Grant Cardone, to be honest. I always spent like a couple hundreds and got like most of, because you could wait. Now he's selling his stuff for 98% off. I don't want to bust your balls here, Amit, but to be honest, like,
but
Grant
you're
Cardone is
but-
selling off his stuff always for cheap.
But you're buying videos. I was buying the coaching and the mentors.
I never
access
bought
to
that
them.
stuff. I only got myself like stuff from like
Yeah,
just from
I don't.
the free coaching session. They give you like an hour.
Yeah.
And
No,
you
it's
see the guys
it's
pissed
not really
off.
It's not really useful for me,
It's
because
not.
I've watched too much of all of these videos. So every time I've spent like probably 10,000 average a year for like mentors, and every time I've done it, people who are serious to have like a team and they help you, I have 10x my income. I've 10x everything. I've made my money back. I've learned what I need to learn to be independent. Every time you buy like cheap stuff that most people do, like videos, I'm sorry, you're not really gonna achieve the same output.
Why though? But why though? Because you're not gonna be working upon it, right? I achieved so much just by reading the book, to be honest.
Did you?
I did. I've read, bro. This is why we're doing this podcast.
But have you 10x'd it though?
Bro, like if you're, I don't want to start expanding too much on that, because George is gonna be mad at me. It's already like 1 hour.
No. Go ahead, bro.
I could go ahead on how like the 10x book, just the $30 book, because I'm buying physical books, right? I bought the book in English, I bought the book in French, and it's dirty. I kept it with me everywhere I could go. I was reading it on the go.
This guy had mentors on. I'm sure you could have asked questions and gotten immediate answers and had like side by side help and stuff like that.
From who? From who?
There must be a price to pay for that.
Okay, so
the personalized.
Let me just like introduce at least so Amit understand. About 10 years ago, I left the payment processing industry. I was working in the payment processing industry. Me and George were working in the industry for a long time. Then George went into banking, and I left the payment processing industry to start as a consultant by myself. I was advertising on Kijiji. I don't know if you know Kijiji. It's like
Kijiji or Kajabi?
it's the same. It's the same thing. It's like a marketplace. So it's marketplace on Facebook. Kijiji at that time was a little like a little bigger. You know, there was Kijiji at the time. I was putting ads there. I was getting not a lot. I was not able to get a lot of clients. I was not able to like pick my clients, and this was the time. Like 10 years ago. This was the time where Google Ads and all that stuff was not really approachable. It was not something that people were really doing. So I was putting out ads on Kijiji. I was getting 1 or 2 clients per week. I had to act upon these clients because I left my job. So I had big promises. I told everybody I'm leaving my job. I'm just going to do this because I've heard through payment processing that people are looking for financing. So I was selling business financing. And I was calling a bunch of like brokers around town to get meetings for like I was getting the clients on Kijiji to call me because
Kijiji is like OLX, Amit.
Yeah,
Like
I was putting ads like if you're looking for money for your business, call me. So I was getting these clients who had like all kinds of problems. Okay, all kinds of businesses were all kinds of problems. I had to close them. I had to find a solution. And I was bringing like the way I feel that makes it so like where I learned so much so fast is because I had to bring value to someone somewhere. And I had to close that because that was my way of living now. That's how I chose to live my life. When I was able to bring these people to like either $10,000, $20,000, they were so happy. Like, and it came like from hard sweat, tears. Like I was calling people. I was calling like people like Jordan. Jordan was working at the bank. I was calling people at the bank. Hey, could you finance my client? Okay, I need financial statement. Could you send me their financial statement? Hey, do you have financial statement? No. Okay, go see your accountant. Go get your financial statement. I was coaching my clients. So these people were getting like a real human for free. I was not charging for that. I was just trying to get my file right, you know? So that was the value I was bringing them. I was coaching them all from the get-go. Okay, give me this. So these leads, these clients were already like set up with me. And to be honest, I seen guys doing it. So I was just copying like older dudes doing that, older consultants. I was doing an old job of like just like putting the right person with the right person. I was just drinking coffee, guys. Like for 10 years, I was just drinking coffee, like going at the restaurant, getting a coffee from my client. I had no money. I was taking the bus to get there at the beginning. Get to Mike's, get the like Pizza Hut, whatever, to drink a coffee in the morning, and explain them that I needed their financial statements right, and I needed them to do something for me to get them where they wanted to be. If your product is just averagely changing lives, you're also going to lose interest in selling that product because you need yourself to feel like you're changing. You need to be excited, bro.
That's true.
You need to be sell anything if you want, but find at least one thing that you get that drives you in the morning to just like help people, and also it pays you. So at 22 years old, 23 years old, I had this board that I have right here in the back. I don't know if you guys could see it. I had like this little board, and I was FaceTiming my clients and showing them, okay, how much products are you going to sell this month? Like, you know, startups or like people who were starting up, like how to like imagine themselves as entrepreneurs. and I was charging $150 an hour for that at the beginning. That was before internet, before podcasting, before the pandemic, before everyone was like socially awkward and internally like staying like. Ugh. But now we're at this point where I feel like this is becoming big. Everybody's trying to be an entrepreneur. Everybody's trying to get these soft skills of just like holding on to a client and knowing how to sell them, like sell them some like your things that you're selling, Amit. I feel like your clients who are working in this field particularly, they need it. They really need it, and they need to understand the value in getting it up until like they stop working like in that field, and they really tell you, no, I'm not working in that field. Up until then, I need to hear about them. I need to hear about, really, are you sure you don't have a problem? Because I feel like I could fix something for you. Let me show you what I could fix for you.
Do you sell them? Do you have like packages? I mean, do you sell your clients like certain package? Can they buy like I don't know, for $30 they get like an ebook, or is it just like they sign on to you? That's $2,000, and that's what it is.
My market, I go premium because there's so many competitors who go low. So there's no reason for me. I don't compete on price. I compete on quality.
So
and
there
time.
you go. Now you're
So-
talking.
So if they go to someone else, yes, that person can teach it maybe 15 hours, but I can teach it in 6 hours. So I'm saving you actual time that you can spend with your family, your friends, and other things, because you don't get time back, right?
What
There
if
you go.
what if have you thought about maybe offering one cheaper tier that gets them to trust you? It's cheaper, it's a less commitment, to segue them to the bigger package. So they buy the $30 package, they get invested, they get, and then they get to the end of it, and it's like, okay, well, now you got to go on
Or
to
the
next
free package. Or the free package, George.
Dude, with the fucking dialing system that this guy bought, this guy invested money in a new calling system, bro. He had to fucking upgrade. He had to pay more for every little upgrade. But that was a bit annoying, though. But like, you know what I mean? It's more to get them, like, instead of getting 0 sales, at least you get 1 sale, and you get a chance to segue them. You get a chance to build with them the relationship. I don't know if you thought about-
just like make.com does it. I don't know if you know make.com, Amit. You know Zapier? You know automation, these automation sites?
Yeah, I used to use Zapier, yeah.
So these because Amit is in a very specific, he's selling courses to and he just said that, there's competition and all that. Like make.com is competing against Zapier, which is, I feel, way bigger, well known, and started way before.
I mean,
They have a starter package at $0 where you could do most things that Zapier does for a paid thing, but they're trying to get known, right? So they give it for free.
Yeah, I understand what I know about
You know?
upselling and
Yeah.
funnels, and I've done it before. So
Oh, ClickFunnels. You know about the ClickFunnels, huh?
yeah, active campaign,
The
ClickFunnels.
ClickFunnels are the future, man. What's his name? Richard Brent. What's his name?
I stopped using ClickFunnels because it's quite expensive, so I use
Really?
system.io instead.
Yeah, me too, bro.
Fucking
I got
Click-
fucked.
You got fucked on the ClickFunnels. This guy, bro. He's like, yeah, he's all excited. Yo, Felix is the type of guy, bro. He'll when it comes to his business, bro. He's just gonna spend. He's gonna fucking spend the money without even looking. Oh, this could help my business. Buy, credit card, buy right away. Oh, ClickFunnels, amazing. Spends like $400-500. ClickFunnels, yeah, man. You
No,
come in all excited.
it's
"Yeah, I
not
just
good.
bought
When I was
ClickFunnels."
when I was doing part of my training for this stuff, because I was trained to do it, and they were using ClickFunnels and Kajabi, but if you use that, that's super expensive.
It
But there
is.
are other-
It is.
There are
Trust me, I
other
know.
cheaper alternatives. It just takes
I
a
know.
bit of a different learning curve, but they are equally, if not
Now I know.
much better.
Now I know.
So I mean, it's really. But yeah, but now I'm building a new school, so I'm probably gonna do. We have a free stuff there now, so that's how we're collecting the leads at the moment. So
Oh,
that's
really?
Mhm.
So what is the free stuff that you're offering? I'm curious, just so I know. What's the entry point to Amit's program?
So for the new school, which I've teamed up with someone else, this Unreal Engine 5, so it doesn't really matter what you do as long as you want to use it. You get introductions for it for free. The problem today is there's a lot of free content everywhere. Like there's, it's not that difficult to find free stuff. So what do people really pay for? They pay for structure, accountability, and then quality and time. That's really what they pay for. So as long as I can deliver that to some degree, it's always good. But my content is like 2 years old, so it's out of date. So I need to upgrade it. I need to update it, and that's the most exhausting part because it changes everything because the technology has changed, my knowledge has changed. It's even if I upgrade it, I probably wouldn't just upgrade it a little bit because my brain goes, it's not really correct anymore. Now I have to do it properly because it needs to be good quality. So something is supposed to be quick and something a long thing, right? So, but that's why I had for ClickFunnels, all of the things I had mentors. And I did like 6 months on my own. It didn't go very well. Then I paid for the 6 months, and I was more committed the second time. And I 10x like all of the time just went quicker. So yes, you can do a lot on your own, but it is always going to almost 100%. I can almost say with a surety, it is always going to be quicker if you have someone who has done it before and they can teach you or at least help you, so you don't go through the frustration. You don't have to guess. You don't have to figure out everything on your own. Is it beneficial to figure things on your own? Arguably not, because there's no need to, because time is money. I keep repeating it to people. Your value is your time. So whatever saves you time, that's what you want to do. Like if you pay someone, like you were telling me earlier, pay someone to do the podcast, yeah, but it doesn't generate me that much money, right? So there's no value in paying someone to do that. Maybe I could pay someone to do something else that generates money, and I myself could do the podcast just for fun. That's a whole different topic altogether, right?
I meant more like hiring someone to do multiple things, but
I mean, my problem is, if I'm gonna do it with someone, it has to be someone that I think is gonna not ditch me, because I've done multiple businesses, I've sold companies.
Get them to invest money. Like that's the best way to get commitment. Sorry.
Yeah.
Get them to put in some money.
Yeah, maybe.
It's all about having a stake. It's all about being being an owner.
Yeah.
Gives you the accountability. They have to show up regardless of how they feel.
Yeah, strategy conceal, Uninet. Feel free to invest.
it's funny that you say that, because Uninet is built. If you take the name of Uninet, it's basically united. It's the first word. It's actually why we called it that name. It's because we united multiple people from multiple families. And at first there was two families, two people, but yeah, people invested. People put their money down to create something that was different, that was special. And I think that you shouldn't be like the owner of 100% something average.
I agree with
that.
that.
You should be like 5% owner of something massive. You should be 5% owner of multiple whales. Because that's it.
But it can never start like that, though. That you imagine starting a company with 20 people.
It does.
Yes, you segue to that, and then you sell. I guess you sell some of your equity as you get bigger.
I think it was maybe my first or second company. I was 70%, but then someone else said 30%. And because I had the experience and recommendation, it was okay. So I mean, it's definitely possible, but you want someone who also puts in the work, because really at the end of the day, I don't really need money. I need a certain.
You need money.
Like
you do need money, bro.
Hey, people can.
No, I have enough money to put in myself. What I need is the right people that will take less money but do the work, so they can earn more money as an owner or a partner. That's more valuable to me, because then you have some predictability in terms of stuff. If you pay someone to do something, it's just a work for them. They don't have the same mentality and attitude and commitment. It's just like, oh, I get some money, I do this work, and then, oh, this other company is offering me more, right? So you need to be able to decide for yourself, of course, what is your priority and what is important for you to focus on. And for me, it's always been engaging people. So I have a Discord, and I'm giving people almost, they can do whatever they want. They talk to me, and it's okay. You want to have a Friday chill call? Go on, but you take the ownership now. I'm not doing it. You want to do this work call? Fine, but you take the ownership. I'm not doing it. So it's all about
people,
giving.
bro. You need
And
to find good people.
That's what I was about to say. How could we 10x your audience, Amit? Like, it's because the way you're telling, like, you're explaining your thing, I just feel like you like we would all win to know more about like what you're doing and the whole like field that you're evolving on. I don't know, like I don't want to expand too much on that because I
mean,
don't know your market. You should own your market. How could we own your market?
Well, I mean, my biggest weakness is I don't focus on one thing. Like, I'm one person who juggle quite a bit, so I'm always split my focus, right? That's the thing. And to do my stuff, I also need to upskill myself all the time because I am the product.
I have the same problem. You know that.
Do you guys? You really need to like be the only person.
You should focus on one thing. I agree totally. If you want to be dominant, if you want to be the dominator in your field, that has to be your fucking life.
So you think Grant Cardone has one business?
Yeah, but he started. How did he start? Did he start with all these? No.
He started with one thing, and then he made money. Then he made investment, and now he does mostly real estate. So you can't take people like Grant Cardone's advice 100% because you have to remember that they started with one thing, and all of them have the same advice. Have a high income job, put aside up to 40% in investment and building something else. Don't go business, because that's what I did in the beginning. I went all crazy and cocky and arrogant. I said, I know what the fuck I'm doing as a 20-year-old. I know how to do this multi-billionaire business. And that it's a completely different ball game.
Obviously, yes.
But
I just meant it's possible, though. It's definitely scalable and possible. People are doing it. That's just what I meant.
It depends what you value, right? I don't necessarily value money. I'm not doing it because I want more money. I'm doing it because I want to have enough knowledge and freedom to help other people. Money is a byproduct of it. I don't care. People are like, oh, why is the price so high? Well, because it allows me to help you more. I can hire more people. I can do more for you. I myself don't necessarily earn that much, which might or might not be true. But the point is, it's all about quality and consistency. So it really depends what you focus. Like podcasting, if you want to make money from podcasting, you can, but then you have to do it as a primary goal. That's your product. That's your initial goal. My podcasting wasn't the initial goal. It was just to funny enough, it was to promote other people, not me. So I was promoting other people who are my competitors instead, and I giving them opportunity to get work. And my community is also promoting other people who happen to be applying for the same project as me. So technically, I'm helping other people maybe steal my potential contract. So eventually, and I tried different things. I did like free sales, I did like cheap stuff, and what happened is I ruined a kind of the branding. The minute you do like lower prices and everything, you ruin the premium brand that I was building. So for me, premium is always the key to making enough revenue to do more things, to help more people. And most people who know me know I throw around money to friends and people if I can, and I said like, okay, you can have some money if you want to. Here, you do the work, but here's the money, right? I don't really care. Like, I invested in an esports bar a few years back, and I knew I was going to lose money. I knew it before I gave them the money. I knew exactly why I was going to lose the money. I know I estimated time of losing money, but I did it to help people that I knew was struggling, finding an opportunity, and they are doing. One of them are doing pretty well now because of that opportunity and that investment, and he's a good friend now. So not everything needs to be about like how do you capitalize financially, even though people think that I do that quite a bit, because every joke I have is about money. A lot of my
people
humor is
people will be like, it's a good debate that like we could have. I feel like I'm you really need to like have context to understand. Like, you gave us context about your friend, and it made me like, at first I was about to tell you, no, that's not a good reason. You shouldn't have got, like, you shouldn't have given the guy the money. But you told us afterward, like, oh yeah, this guy's now as a, like, he's a good friend. He learned from that thing, and we're going forward. I've had experiences like that where I felt at the moment that I've wasted time, I wasted energy on people. But later on, life told me that it was actually a good thing, and I didn't lost anything because I learned also. And I feel like, if you feel like money's not lost and you feel no loss, your
I mean,
ability to move
they
forward will
I mean,
feel
they
like,
I mean, they even offered me the money back before filing bankruptcy. I said, no, you needed to pay back the loan that's on your name. So
wow.
you know,
How rich.
my first company, I was gonna get quite a bit of money to start my company, and I turned the person down because his criteria was to kick out my friends in exchange of the money, because he said I didn't need them. He wasn't wrong, but for me, there's a certain ethical and moral things that I think are more important than money. So obviously, we didn't do as well because certain things happened. But it was a good experience. It was the best time of my life. Even today, like running something on your own, getting through all the financing, the money, and people stopping you, then you're like, haha, screw you, I still got the money. And people not, it's an amazing feeling when you know people don't really like you, they're trying to stop you from politically, or they're like the big names, and they have the resources to stop you, and then somehow you still manage to sneak around and manage to do something. It comes down to authenticity, like being authentic, being consistent, and it's gonna attract the right people, right, at the end of the day, and that's what you
It's
want to
true.
do.
It's true. Moi, je suis 100% d'accord avec ça, George. Je sais pas ce que tu en penses, là, mais
I don't know. Like I think I don't like. I like the way you think. I agree that people are like important, right? It's we have to help people and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, like you're investing in people, right? But you're still hoping to get a return. What if you knew? Let me give you an example. Let's say you knew that the investment you're about to make is going to fail, but you're doing it to help them anyways, and you
Mhm.
know for sure the investment is going to go to zero, and you're not going to
Mhm.
get your money back. Are you still giving the money?
Yeah. No, I don't. 80% of the time, I know I don't get the return of the same investment. By experience and personality, I don't think people invest in people as much as I do.
I know that. I know that about you. I know that. I've known you for the past year now, and I know that about you.
So I already know, and the only way for me to do good and not hate people that I don't get something in return is to accept that I am different, and my way of conducting myself is on a different level, because then you can still do good and you're not getting to blame people, because that blame mentality is very dangerous when you do something and you're like, oh, I didn't get the same back or anything. Like it's not healthy, and it also stops you from being the better version of yourself, right? Because then you stop doing it, because then your mentality is, oh, I put so much effort in this person, I spent so much money on this person, they didn't do anything, I'm going to stop helping people. That doesn't really help you if that happens to be something that you're good at. That doesn't make sense to
it's
me.
a very hard balance to have. I get, if I could like say something about that, I've had
No.
okay.
No, bro, Felix, you
I'm
just
joking.
ask the questions, not talking.
No time left for you. You've used all your minutes. Buy more.
It sounds like just that. It sounds like dial pad.
Yeah. Dial pad. I've used all my AI minutes. No, but
Yes, shit.
I've had a huge, like, I've had to like hire, like, I wouldn't say huge teams of people, but for us it was huge because we were still a startup, and one of our first contract was pretty pretty big company. It was I needed to hire 12 people, 10 to 12 people every night, and I dealt with you know old people, younger guys, younger girls, older like moms, single moms, people who came up like they had to come late, people who like all different personalities, okay, and all kinds of people that had different needs. I felt like a provider because I felt like I was responsible of these people. I was giving them a job. I was they were doing something for me. You know, they were cleaning toilets and cleaning floors for a big contract of ours. Of course, we were trying to bring value, but how do you balance all of that? It's so hard. Like it's you need to like pay a decent salary, ask them to do tasks, and now I feel nowadays more importantly you need to like be sensitive to their situation, which is worth more money than what you could give people. Knowing that someone has to come at work 30 minutes and now we're late, and let them because they have kids that they have to go drop off first, and like to be able to understand that is worth more the money that they could be making more somewhere else, and just me understanding that is worth the world for some of them.
Okay, but
But
like every day, let's say it's an everyday occurrence.
yes, but
Like, is there an
I was
Then
just
you
about to
Go
just
ahead.
say,
then you just change their
You
time schedule
change their
formally.
schedule. Yep.
sorry, I'm sorry.
No, go on. Yeah,
No,
I
I
was
was just about to say, like, I went like full. At some point, I was like, "Okay, this is the way to go. Like, you need to be like have empathy with all these people." Um, but up to a certain point, we got like we had proof of abuse,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it
You need to
wasn't even
balance it.
like I wasn't not even like trying to like inspect on anybody or like it just like bam got straight to my face. I learned that people were abusing. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, hey, how could you balance that? It's
Yeah.
impossible to balance, really. Like it's so hard.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's impossible, but that's the thing. Like, if you're too soft, people will abuse it,
Yep.
even if they're not doing it on purpose. Over time, it becomes a condition.
Yeah.
This is where people get it wrong. They this is where I am quite strict. This is why I'm strict. This is why I do what I do. Is because I understand basic psychology of habits and condition. Because when I studied game design, I had to study ludic studies, and I had to study play, and I had to study addiction. And one of the things I learned was how to get you addicted on one of my games. Like, what's the psychology behind getting you to fucking play the game as much as possible and pay me, right? um and then, because I was doing that kind of study, game theory and all of the things, I learned quite early on about manipulation and how people manipulate you, how people get into habit over time, prisoner's dilemma, all of these things, right? And people don't know that they're doing it to begin with. Like, they don't even notice it. So it's also lack of self-awareness, I think, from my observation, from my studies, that I that's what I believe anyway. So that's why you need to have boundaries, and it's the same thing in a relationship. Like, if let's say let's say my girlfriend, my one girlfriend, the only girlfriend. Let's say I'm
Are you
working.
sure?
Let's say I'm doing something, and she keeps saying, "Hey, can you spend time with me here and here?" Thing is, she wants as much time as she can get from me, and if I allow it, I'm going to lose some of my discipline. I'm going to lose some of my routine. Over time, she's going to notice that I don't have the same drive. And then she's going to be unhappy, because the initial thing that attracted her was my discipline, my consistency, my honesty. And if I then sacrifice that, then who's the winner? No one is a winner. So you need to have that. And
Whoa. Yes. Okay. I see where you're going with this. But the relationship, I think that's a different ball game. The whole like
I was thinking the same thing.
employer-employee relationship,
Yeah.
like I get it. Like it's the same thing with politics. It's the same thing like we saw with COVID. Give an inch,
Yeah.
take an inch to give a, what is it? To give
Yes.
an inch, take a mile.
It's
And it
true.
starts
The
with
COVID.
just the
C'est vrai,
COVID
ça.
lockdown. They start testing. They test, and maybe they do it. No, I'm sure they do it on purpose. And they see, okay, how far are they gonna go? How far are they gonna go? And they test, and with an employee, it's subconscious. Maybe
Mhm.
it's subconscious. Okay, I could show up a couple minutes late. No, no, no. It's all
C'est
about
vrai.
finding. It's all about finding that balance. I know I
Well,
sound like a
it's
broken record when I
no,
talk about balance, but bro, imagine.
but you have to remember one thing though. Sorry, but you have to remember that it's not really about being employee. It's human nature, right? There's so many social experiments that people have done and tested people, from going into an elevator and you send other people into the elevator and they are looking directly at you and making you uncomfortable, who are not part of the experiment. What do people do? They turn around, either because they're nervous or they think you have to look around. Then the same group of people turn left, and the guy who's not part of the experiment looks, okay, I'm supposed to turn left, right? It's the same thing. They go to this other doctor's appointment, and then every 5 minutes people stand up, and then these people who are not part of the experiment come in, they look, they don't know what's happening, they start doing it too. And then eventually they change all of the people, and then none of the people that are there know what there is an experiment going on, and they keep doing it because that's what they learned.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Same with the monkeys, same with the painful button clicking. There's so many proven experiments that for me have taught me even not believe everything I see and learn, because we are very fragile human beings. So you need to talk, you need to discuss, you need to learn, you need multiple point of view. That's the only way you can be sure that you're somewhat going the right direction, right?
Amit has an interesting way of the way he spends his time with his. I don't know if you it's okay I say this.
I don't know what you're gonna say, but
Like but just has to do with your relationship, the way it's calculated, the way it's like, okay, we're spending this much time. I kind of like it. Like,
well, it's just I've just
I get
noticed.
it.
I just noticed that if I don't do it, then here's the thing. It's like eating.
But
If you
what's
eat-
wrong with talking? What's wrong with saying like, look, I'm busy. I have this, and this going on. So like, I can give you this much time per week. I can give you one day, this day. I think that's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with
I'll give you another perspective that more relatable for two people. Then, what happens if you keep eating food you like and you keep eating it 1 day, 2 day, 1 week, 2 week? What's gonna happen if you just eat whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want, anytime, any day, right? What happens? You get overweight, you get obese. Why?
You get conditioned also to just
Right?
getting that food so easily.
Because you're not disciplined, you're not controlling what you enjoy. It's the same thing. If I go out, have fun with you every day, that's not to say I'm not enjoying it, but there are consequences and the price. That's where priority comes in. That's where understanding the 1% rule, what happens every day if you skip that 1%, right?
But
What happens
inversely,
if
you could change
gym?
that conditioning. You could also inversely change that condition and then condition yourself to new things, which we did and which we're trying to do by podcasting every day, 5 days a week, which makes no sense, right? From us, like from the standpoint that we're not necessarily trying to make some money out of it.
And
We're not like it. We're just trying to change some habit to have new skills.
and that's good
out of it.
habits to have. But I do want to iterate to anyone who is watching this, and if this ever is a recording, that there's nothing wrong with what people choose to do, be it having fun, drinking. I'm just saying there is a price to pay for it, and if you don't know the
I was like,
price,
sound bites.
you have to. So what I normally do is I write down a pros and cons and risk of every choice I make. So let's say I want to do something, I go down, okay, these are the pros, these are the cons, these are the risk. Okay, that's choice 1. Choice 2, same thing. Choice 3, the same thing. I will accept not the one that has the most pros or the risk. I will go and say, okay, if the worst case scenario happened, which one of those will I accept and not blame other people for? Which one will I be able to take responsibility of? That's the choice I will go. I'm not going to look for the pros. I'm looking for, okay, if shit hits the fan, which of these decisions am I going to hold myself accountable for and not blame? Because what is the number one thing human nature does? When things are good, there's no thank you. When things are shit, you know exactly how to blame. You know what review to do 1 star. You know who to blame. You only all of that, right? This is human nature. We are
It's
wired
so
to
true, bro.
complain. We are
That's true.
wired to be negative.
We had a show on this the other day, and like
Mhm.
Grant, because Grant, he really focuses on taking responsibility, even if it's not your fault. Just take responsibility. And
Yeah.
like, I love exactly what you said, bro, because I said the same thing. Like, our brains are wired to just right away blame, blame, blame. So then we're saying like, okay, it's human nature. Like something happens, I'll blame, but like right away, like change it. You know, like like change that and say like, no, what did I do? Like, how was I responsible for this? What was
And
my role in this?
and I'll prove it to you. Anyone watching, take a piece of paper and pen. Write 3 things that you're happy about yourself, and then 3 things you're negative about yourself. I can guarantee you're going to fill up more negatives over 3. So you can keep writing the negatives. You're going to struggle getting even 10 positive things.
It's easier to find the negatives.
Okay.
So
So
easier to find the things you don't
and
like about yourself.
and this is why you have, this is my belief, this is not scientific at this stage. This is my belief that this is why you have depression. This is my belief why you are negative and you complain. And the same people that says these things are the same people who expect the government to help them and someone
So
else to
true.
come save them. Okay, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying there's a reason you're in that position, because you're expecting someone else to solve the problem. And it's okay to ask,
Mm.
it's okay to ask for help, but you also need to learn, like, there are ways for you to get out of the rut, the rabbit hole, but you need to be aware of it first. You need to accept it and just go with the mindset that, listen, government
Soft
is not
skills
going to save
becomes hard
me.
skills. Like just start soft, and soft skills becomes hard skills. You know, get into a school, learn something, and it will become over time a hard skill that would make you money, that would change your life, change your career, change your whatever you want to be changed.
And it's tough to hear from people. I think a lot of people are sensitive to these topics, to be fair. I mean, they're like, oh, no,
C'est
it's
vrai.
it's not, that's not why, and it's this person's fault, and I have trauma and whatnot. Yeah, I'm sure you have it, and I'm not saying you don't have it. I'm not saying it's not serious whatever people have. I'm just saying there are many people who have survived worse things.
Man,
And
yeah, I say that all the time. Worst things, bro.
yeah,
Worst scenarios, worst context, no water, like, and still did it. Like,
do you guys know about David Goggins?
of
course.
course, I read, bro. I have this book right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I finished this book already.
Yeah, very nice
Yeah.
book.
When you say you finished the book, you're an audio kind of guy, right, Mitt?
Yeah, the only reason I'm an audio kind of guy is not because I'm an audio kind of guy. It's because of all the moving and traveling, and shipping books are super expensive and heavy. So I
amazing.
don't really have much of a
Understand.
choice. And I could go Kindle and stuff, but these days I'm walking, so it's nice to have something knowledge. You're walking, you get some fitness done, and you get some knowledge, optimizing time. You know how I am, making the most out of my time and resources.
Me, I'm a family guy, so I keep my nice library at home. You know, of books that I like to just have visually in front of me. I just think it's nice to have all the books that you like handy.
I think both
Right
is
there.
great. I think reading is also great, and I think instead of
They're
listening
both
to
a
music
vibe.
in your car, like it is, instead of listening to music in the car, like just
Yeah.
pop on a podcast or pop on like
100%.
something educational content. Why not? It's all about like Amit said, making use of your time.
For
You know?
years, I had the GTD book inside of my Apple playlist, just throughout all the songs. So sometimes I was just driving, let's say, to Toronto, and me and my wife, for years and years and years, I was listening to just that random playlist. I would just pop a chapter once in a while that would just come in the car, like a full chapter, and we would just rock it. You know, listening to music, and then boom, GTD chapter
About-
7, blah blah blah, and then you listen to a chapter with your wife in the car, and you're like, hey, you're down for that chapter? Yeah, I would just rock it, the chapter.
It's just like the note taking. I know, like Phil, you do that a lot. Like
Oh, yeah.
when you
I'm
read
big
a
on
book,
note
like
taking.
a lot of the times, I don't know if your brain is like this, Amit, but I have ADD, right? And like oftentimes I read something and I forget what I just read. So like one of the things that audiobooks, like what happens is if I'm on the go, I'm not taking notes. I'm not really, some stuff I'm not going to retain. And like,
Yeah, I'm definitely. It's a bit harder. You have like notes in audiobooks as well. There are like features you can use, but um, this is why I like reading in peace in physical or a Kindle, so I can take my
yeah,
notes.
Kindle should be good. I should get
Uh,
a Kindle.
and
But it depends
scientifically,
if you're trying to master the book or going through it just for personal stuff. If you're trying to master the book so you really master the subject,
You take
of
notes.
course you want to take like I take the time. I have books of books because I'm not rewriting the book, but I'm rewriting my version of my takeaways. Like I want that aside for this to go with the book once I'm done when I'm dead, my kids will have the book and daddy's outtakes and takeaways from the book for them to throw in the garbage or read for them to like it's
fun
something that
fact
I
about books. You know, there's a very common thing that people are like accumulating books, then they don't read it. Because what happens to the brain supposedly is when you buy the book, the brain already believes that okay, you've done something successfully, and then when you read a little bit and you don't act upon it, the brain now thinks that you successfully completed what you're supposed to complete. And this is why people are like they're reading the book, they complain about the book, but they're never really committed to trying what's in the book. So this is there's some research about it too, I remember. But about
it's very true. I'm
optimizing.
victim to that. I feel
But
like this podcast is like me putting myself accountable to read these books for sure.
about optimizing time, a fun fact about when I was little, and I thought about it a few times, but I'll mention it now as well. When I was young, I already was by nature optimizing my time without knowing it. It's small things like, you know, back when you were younger, when you were turning on the computer, it took a bit longer for the computer to start. So I would always turn on the computer, then go brush my teeth, or then go upstairs and bring something. So by the time I come down, it's on. So I'm not waiting for it to come on.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Smart
Hey,
guy. Smart guy.
Amit, did it ever happen you started the game, you turn the power on, and you pretend to look away, and you're
Oh,
looking
yeah,
at the
yeah,
game.
yeah.
You
Play
pretend
the
you
time
pretend
game.
you pretend to not care because it loads faster.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
one of those guys too. It's a universal thing, man. It's like
Oh,
you just
yeah,
blink.
yeah.
It's like you start the console. You're like,
Yeah, I played that time game.
I saw a reel of that the other day. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
whoa, bro, this is scary. It's actually a universal thing. We're all wired the same in a way. That's
But we
crazy.
don't wait for games anymore. Kids these days won't
They
have
quit.
that like same experience of trying to fit time over time over time.
Yeah, but even now,
Because you're
if you
doing
cl-
two
if,
things at the same time by doing that. Don't you
yeah,
realize?
yeah, they call it two screening now. Your kids are gonna do it too. You're gonna have a screen that's connected to the TV. They're gonna focus between the TV and the screen. If you start teaching them now, they're gonna be doing that. This is also again scientific research that kids are doing it. They call it multi-screening. So now products and softwares are designed for kids to be able to do that, so they can shift their focus between one screen and the TV and another screen. It's amazing how kids are changing.
How do you guys feel about that? How do you guys feel about kids having tablets before a certain age, or is it okay for kids to have tablets at a certain age, or how do you guys
No.
feel about that?
Should not be allowed.
Till what age?
Until they get beaten at school for not having it.
Wow, that much. I don't know.
I don't think you need, like, I got my first phone probably after 13.
But
I
it's a
think.
different world now. It's like all their friends are gonna have it in school, and they're gonna be the only ones. Like, I agree. Like, I had the sickest.
She's 3 years old.
I-
She doesn't have a phone, but like obviously she plays on the phone. She's 3
I had the
years old.
sickest childhood. I would not change anything in the world, man. We were out playing, kicking a ball, building tree houses, hanging out with our
But
friends.
that's what I like
beating
with
each other up. Like, we
that's
were
what I like
doing-
with Portugal. You know, that's what I like with Portugal. That's what they do here. I was walking around, the kids were doing kind of hide and seek.
Right, playing
and
Sandman.
that's
Did you ever play
amazing.
Sandman at the park? Sandman was fun.
So I think that's good. Yeah, but I don't think we should give kids a phone quite early because, again, there are a lot of research about habits and screen time and getting glasses. There's so much to learn, but I don't know why people don't go for scientific research where it actually been tested.
Bro, like the screen time, man. My parents when my parents, obviously they're older and they didn't have phones back in their day. They didn't have social media back in their day. They just recently started using Facebook and stuff. And my parents are addicted the same way we are now. My parents are addicted to. I see my dad stopping in the hallway, just watching reels and laughing by himself.
It's true.
Yeah.
And he's sending me reels. And he just recently got into social media a few years ago. So like,
But this is what I'm saying with human psychology. It's the same process in the brain, the same dopamine, the same thing that's happening regardless of what you're. It's just, have you been? A lot of people haven't been trained to deal with it. That's the thing. So it's our responsibility as future parents and current parents to be able to figure out, and by learning now, how would you make sure that your child has the discipline to know when to stop, how to stop, and not get that constant
you need
fix.
to discipline
you have
them.
to teach them. You have to teach them
Yeah.
the downfalls and the negative aspects of using them. I think
So
that
I
would
have-
be
I
a
have-
good
I have
approach
kids.
to that. So
I could.
like teach them that. Like, I remember, you know how my parents got me to eat vegetables back in the day. My grandmother, I didn't like to eat vegetables. My grandmother, she used to tell me in Italian, like, eat your broccoli. If not, you're not going to be strong. You're not going to be big and strong. You know,
Yeah,
like,
they should have told you that you're not gonna have hair.
yeah, you know what I mean. Like, so stuff like that. You're educating them. Like, if you use your phone, this is what's going to happen to your eyesight. This is what's going to happen to your attention span. Do you want to use it? Use it. One time, I like, not one time, like, I wanted to smoke. I told my dad I want to try smoking, and my dad didn't stop me from smoking. He was smoking. I'm like, Dad, I'm curious. Can I try? He looks at me. He's like, I was like 13 years old, maybe 14 years old. I'm like, what? Like, he just gave it to me. I'm like, what? I'm like, what happens if I do it? He's like, you're gonna burn all your insides. I remember word for word, you're gonna burn all your insides. I'm like, I give it right back. I'm like, what? Like, he said something like that, bro. And I'm like, and that's how I learned. Like, my parents didn't like, we had made our own decisions, but they gave us the consequences of what will happen if we do it.
Yeah, I know parents who would give their kids alcohol very early, and they would make sure they drank a lot to get puke and feel disgusted, so they wouldn't drink afterwards.
Mm.
So there are different ways of doing things. I mean, is there a right and wrong way in life? Probably not. There's too many gray zones in life, but there's definitely like a proven methods that kind of works with the least disadvantage and least consequences of your choices, because that's essentially what we're all looking for, isn't it? It's like, what choice has the least consequences and negativity is really the best you
But
can
is there
hope
a
for.
different method for everybody? Like,
I feel
like you
if I
can't give
if
the
I could
same method. You can't use the same method on everybody, because
I could
everybody's
talk to
like,
myself, Jordan.
people learn differently. I
with
think.
my kids, what I'm trying to do is, and with my wife, what we're trying to do is show them, right? Like, it's one thing that you could do is show, like, uh listen, like, there's cigarettes out there, there's like, there's bad people out there, there's bad things happening all the time. What can I do to prevent my kids from doing all of that? I think that by telling them don't do it, it's the
Not good
proven
enough.
method to, like, not do anything. I feel like by showing them other things in life, and by showing them, hey, daddy's doing this to make his life better, you decide what you want. But that's what's daddy doing. That's our method for us. That's what's been working. You know, like, we're all victim of that. We're all on our phone. So sometimes I'm on my phone too much. I just see myself being too much scroller, like too much of a scroller. I'm seeing myself like, hey, I need to stop right now because this kid is watching me. She's watching me, man. And on Saturday morning, she wants to do the exact same thing. So she's asking
Yeah.
for the phone.
Yeah, exactly.
She has her game on the phone. And I realized that we did tryouts, we did trials and errors. We're not perfect, so we, at some point, she did use the phone too much, and we saw behavior changings and stuff changing. So we had to put, like, limits. We had to put, like, a 5 minutes. She could play. I think she could play, like, on each games for 5 minutes each, maximum. Then it's done for the day. So she has her little games. She has like 5 games. So it's 25-minute total for the day. and she never uses all of it because she doesn't even know the rules. So at some point, she gets stuck in one game. She's like, "Oh, ça marche plus. It doesn't work anymore." She closes it. She's pissed at it, and I'm good with that. She's learning that it's done. Move on to something else. There's other games that this place is filled with toys. Do something else. So, and I'm also doing something else. I can't just be out there giving orders. Hey, do something else. And I'm on my phone. Like, I need also to be doing something else. I'm also putting myself like at risk by saying that. Okay, now I need to go to the park. I told her go do something else. Now she's asking me, can we go to the park? Yes. Now I go to the park. I leave my football. I go to the park. Sometimes I don't want to, but I need to because I told her to do something else, and that's how it goes. So you need to show them. You can't just tell them.
No, you can't just tell
them. Show them.
Kids won't listen. You shouldn't. Except some people will obviously listen a little bit. Like I was told when I was younger, I couldn't have a girlfriend until I finished my studies. I was like, okay, sure, fair enough. But then I studied, and I studied a lot. Then I reached the point where, wait, I'm still studying. This doesn't make sense to me. This deal is bad. I'm a lifelong study person, student. So then I was like, I'm not listening anymore. This doesn't make any sense. So I mean, it depends on the content. My parents were really two different people. Like mom was like spot on, eat healthy, do good things, all like always buy gifts, all the things like you would expect a nice human being to do. My dad was a badass. He would like he would didn't care. He was like, yeah, you try to do that and see how it goes.
And you were scared of your dad. You were scared that you weren't scared of your mom, but your dad.
Yeah,
I don't know, but my dad fucking hit hard, man. When I
was also scared of my dad.
When I did to my dad was scary, man. He would. My mom needed the belt. She needed the spoon. She needed.
But
to
that's
shoot.
how
My
it
dad,
should be.
Open fucking hand. Boom.
But that's what we're missing, I think. That's probably what we're missing in this day and age, is that balance of a lot of parents, and this is just my observation. I don't actually know for sure. Well, I do know for sure because obviously I am watching how people behave. Is they are trying to befriend their kids. There's an age. My dad only started becoming my friend after I was like around my 20s, when he noticed I was maturing a little bit, and he would like ask me to drink with him, chill with him, these kind of things. But before that, he would like test me a little bit, and I would say no, and I never really accepted his offers. Like he would ask me for years, oh, do you want to drink? Do you want to sit down? I was like, no, I'm not drinking with you. Not gonna happen. Of course, outside I was drinking a little bit.
But he was testing you. He was just testing you, wasn't he?
He wouldn't mind. Like he would probably enjoy it, but I would never do it out of just respect.
You can't be friends with your kids, but you can be friendly.
I mean, your job.
There's a balance, bro. There's a balance for everything. There's a balance. You have to be like. You have to be the discipline figure, and you also have to be the friend figure that they can come to you with any problem, right? So that aspect of befriending your kids, the aspect of you want them to feel that they can come and tell us anything.
Like friend. What is a friend? They're not your friend. They need to respect you because your friend is not going to respect you. Like.
The friend aspect of it, that your son or daughter could come to you with any problem. As a parent, that's what you want. You don't want your kid to not tell you, you know what I mean? There's something going on in their life and they feel that they can't tell you. No good. They need to feel that they have to come tell you. Or
I like that the two people that don't have two people that don't have kids are explaining the guy who has two kids.
Yeah, but look, like we still have a human experience. We still are people who have
it's
parents.
Fine, bro. It happens all the time, bro.
We still can analyze ourselves with our parents, how we've been, how we grew up, and we can draw from that experience.
That's why I take all advices from anyone. It doesn't matter if they have kids or not. And
like
I'm
when
a
it comes
young
to changing
parent,
diapers, like I can't give you advice on changing diapers, bro. But
we're talking about kids all the time. Me and Jordan, he doesn't have kids, and it doesn't to me. It doesn't matter because. Like we're talking, like he said, we're talking about like our parents, and that's our biggest experience. That's not.
But you have
parents,
you have a niece and nephew, no?
No, I don't actually.
That's my comparison. Is all the family kids that I've babysitting and taken care of is how I come up with my opinions.
Yeah, like we have I have little cousins for sure, but my siblings are all without children. So
Blanks.
yeah.
Bro, talking of kids, bro, I don't know if it's too early for this or if it's fine if we could talk about the time, because I have my wife taking care of the two kids while we're having this podcast. I'm gonna have to like start thinking
Yep.
about the time.
I think it's good to cool
Yeah,
cool
it's
off
good to close this, bro.
it's like past midnight here anyway, so it's getting.
Bro, I fucking appreciate you coming, and maybe we could do like a regular collaboration,
so
bro,
much.
and we can set up.
Yeah. I
like,
mean, there's lots of topics that we can talk
I mean,
about.
look at us. It's 2 hours, and we're not short of.
We covered so much, bro. Like we went so much, like on.
We're not short of
topics.
topics.
No,
So,
definitely.
Yeah. No worries. I'll just. Yeah, I'll send you the invoice for the 2 hours. Yeah.
Company expense.
This guy. Okay, I knew it. I told you, Jordan. I told you you were gonna send us. Told you.
I told you.
I was paid, bro. Like,
I gotta make my money somehow.
let me go get my credit card. I knew it. Oh my god, this guy. Oh my god! But thank you so much. I mean, like this we were talking about giving value and talking about time is money, and you're out there giving us like 2 hours. Like this is crazy.
Yeah, no worries,
It's
man.
amazing.
It was either that or go out and play pool and bowling with some of my other friends here.
Which is a lot more fun. Let's say it. Like that's not true. Not true.
No, I actually told them I was going to go to bed, and Gio reminded me on WhatsApp, "Are you ready?" I was like, "Oh fuck, yes, I'm ready."
Is it too late for the pool though? Could you still do the pool at that time?
They're probably still playing or hanging out because they normally do this.
Is that the one on on Praia de Russia where you take the stairs to go down, like kind of down the stairs?
Probably.
There's that place. It's like €2 for a beer.
Yeah.
What?
Exactly.
Yeah, bro.
Bro, we
Of
go.
course.
We
Yeah, let's
go,
go.
George.
Let's
We
go.
go now.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right,
God.
boys.
All right.
I wish you guys a good evening, good night. And
Yes,
we'll talk to you
Thank you
soon.
so much. You too.
Thank
George.
you. See you too.
Take care, my
Night.
friend. Ciao,
Bye
ciao.
bye.
Night. Ciao, man.